Hello everyone, Deb Floros for Art Beads. Art Beads carries this really cool headband component. It is a 22 karat gold plated metal tiara headband frame, and you can use this to create some kind of a festival tiara or headband or something that you could wear for Halloween. So I wanted to create a woodland type headband or tiara, and I've got some cool Euro wood beads. These are in an oval shape, and then I've got these 4mm rounds. They are really, really nice quality, and I like the combination of the two together. Now I thought I would throw in some color, so I've got some check glass 8mm Color Trend saturated metallic russet and some 11O seed beads in Tucson autumn color. They're Tohos. And I thought this combination looked super fall, great for Indian summer and the early fall part of the year. I've got two different types of artistic wire. I've got one that is a 20 gauge, just regular artistic wire. And then I've got some twisted wire to use as well. And you may choose to use more of the twisted wire than I do. So first of all, I'm going to decide how much space I want to fill up in the front of the tiara here. And I'm just going to do a little bit towards the front. This is going to be more of a subtle woodland tiara. And so I'm starting off by cutting some artistic wire, maybe about 2 feet. And I'm taking about 3 inches or so, maybe 4, and wrapping it around several times, about 5, around one side where I'm thinking about the focal section of the tiara starting. Then I'm going to cut off my little piece of excess. And you see, I used some pliers to tighten up the section. So you can use pliers to cinch up that wire. And then I like to tuck in that little excess piece of wire. Now I'm adding a bead, and I'm holding on to that bead and wrapping it around and getting some wraps right up next to that bead. So I want that bead to kind of stand up on the top of the tiara, so to speak. And I just want that beautiful shine and gold wire to show up. It looks so good. So then I've got these wood beads, and I'm using seed beads around them, but to be honest, they are really small for the holes in the wood beads, so they kind of get lost in the design. But you could certainly use some metal spacers to prevent that from happening. But you'll see that I've got a smaller wood bead and then a seed bead. They do show up when they're next to that 4mm wood bead. So I'm adding on that little sort of trio of beads, and I'm doing the same thing, holding on to them up top and creating some wraps next to them to hold them onto that tiara piece. Then I'm putting on another one of those beautiful check beads, doing my wraps, trying to get them as nice and neat as I can, but you could certainly do this in messy form as well. Then I'm going to take another one of those seed beads, just because I want to have continuity. I am adding it in between the larger and smaller wood bead, but you probably won't see them in the design. So I'm wrapping, and I'm just creating that alternating pattern of one of the round beads, the wood beads, the round bead, and the wood beads. And then I'm wrapping and cutting off my excess and cinching up that wire. And I've got my first section completed. Now I want to do a little bit of a subtle focal section, and I'm going to pull out some of that twisted wire to do so. Now this wire is best with larger hole beads, so that works great with the wood beads that I've got for this project. So I'm putting some wraps on, cinching that wire up, and I'm going to put it right up next to the other wire that's on the tiara. I'm adding those round beads, which actually go over this 20 gauge twisted wire as well. So you see my pattern: a round bead, a small wood bead, the larger wood bead, a small wood bead, and then the round orange bead. And I'm just doing my wraps on the other side. So it's just kind of coming up a little bit higher in the center. And I think that looks really fun and cool. And you can see the wire in between and around the beads, and because it's all metallic and gold, it just adds that nice little bit of brightness with the beads that I've got selected here. Then I'm going to start on the other side of that focal section, doing the same thing I did with the first section. Same pattern, same process. So I'm getting my wraps on and tightening those up next to my focal section. And I'm going to use some pliers to tighten that up and get it just right. Cutting off my excess and using pliers to press down that little excess piece of wire, tucking it in. Then I'm doing those tight wraps in between the beads, just trying to get this to be as symmetrical as possible and matching the other side, which I found to be a little bit more challenging than I thought. But wow, I really love how this came out. I'm a little off at my center point, so you can move things a little bit. But once you've got it moved, leave it alone and it should be just fine. And I love how it came out. Oh gosh, the colors are so great, so woodland, and perfect for a costume or some kind of festival that you might have going on this fall. You can find everything to make this at artbeads.com.